international phenomenon. Talk about being part of the screen adaptation.
It felt such a privilege. I saw this musical when I was 7 or 8 years old and wanted to be Gavroche, the kid in it. When something sat in your stomach from that age, there is, I don't know, you grow with it. The passion grows with you. It's why people go back to see Les Mis hundreds of times. And so being part of the film version, you felt massive responsibility, but also wonderful excitement. So I felt really proud to be a part of it.
Talk about what makes the story so timeless.
That's a great question. I feel like firstly, there's something for everyone in this. There is a love story, there is tragic elements, there's action elements, there's a comedic element that feels like Victor Hugo had a sense of everything, but also there are things that resonate for generation after generation. And certainly while we were making the film, every day we came to work, there was things on the front of newspapers that really highlighted how relevant the story was. My character is trying to light this flame to start a rebellion, whether it was in Wall Street or St. Paul's in London, or what was happening in the Middle East. This idea of the dispossessed or people fighting for what they believe in was omnipresent. So maybe there's a timelessness to it because it always seems relevant.
And talk about having to sing live. It's so unusual to have to sing live for film. Talk about that.
Well, normally on musical films, they've made an album and you then go and, as it were, make a large music video and you lip sync along to this album that you've made a couple of months before. On this, we sang live and it was wonderful because it was so freeing. It meant you didn't have to think about sort of making your mouth move in time with what you'd done months before. But at the same point, the problem with it was that if you did 25 takes, you had to sing the song 25 times. And that became a challenge. And so part of the lead up into filming was working with a vocal coach called Mark Malin, who really literally changed the muscles in the back of my throat in order to have the stamina, sort of marathon athlete-y stamina that was kind of important.
And then lastly, Tom Hooper. Describe his vision of Les Mis.
I love Tom Hooper. He's a great man because he's incredibly cerebral, wonderfully bright, and has such a strength of vision. On huge films, often it can become lots of cooks in a kitchen, and he really wanted to go back to the book with. He had a huge amount of respect for Claude Michel Schoenberg, Alain Mobile, and Herbie Kreutzmann's musical. Wanted to go back to the book to see what we could weave in from the book to details, into the plot and into the characters that you can't see on stage, but that we could on film. So he really felt like he was taking this thing that was so loved and finding a new way of translating it for a new audience whilst respecting the fans. And I was so impressed by the way he worked.
Was there one day that stood out to you, a story you could tell us?
Yeah. There was one day, there's a part in the film in which myself and the students, we build a barricade, and they had built this huge set in Pinewood in London of a big Parisian street, and the detail was extraordinary. There were shops with ironmongers and all these bits and bobs, and it came to building the barricade, and there were 50 peasants and there were 30 students, and Tom had 5 cameramen dressed up as peasants with the cameras wrapped up in sort of tarpaulin to camouflage them. And he put 10 minutes worth of film on the camera and he said, right, build a barricade, action. And we were like, what? And suddenly there were pianos falling from above, there were wardrobes, and it was the most anarchic, sort of terrifying, adrenaline-fueled 10 minutes, but your inner 7-year-old was just having the craziest, most wonderful time. And we built a barricade in 10 minutes, but of course you didn't know where the cameras were. You would just catch glints of a lens. And so he caught a reality of these young guys just having the most terrifying but wonderful experience.
Thank you